I have been a One Piece fan for more than a decade. I started watching the anime when I was younger, and in just a couple of episodes I knew that this was going to be my favorite piece of work of all time. Maybe because even before One Piece, I was crazy for Pirates of the Caribbean, my favorite trilogy, so was the perfect match. A kid in love with pirate movies found the best pirate anime and manga of all time. Except what I loved about Pirates of Caribbean and made me fall madly in love with One Piece also was never the pirates and the pirate life, but the mystery. This massive and ancient world enveloped in the unknown, having so many mysteries and tales that someone can spend their whole life trying to solve every single one and still not even scratch the surface. And the best part, the deeper you go, the more you learn that you still knows nothing. It reminds me of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, when you reach the end and you realize there's way lot more than you think. But this time, instead of another castle, is another ocean of mysteries. So today, I'm here to talk about maybe the biggest and most prevalent mystery in One Piece, the Straw Hat, the Mugiwara. Everybody knows this hat, being a One Piece fan or not, is the icon that represents the series. It is in every single episode, is a symbol representing the main motivation of the character, and is so iconic that even in One Piece, Luffy and his crewmates are recognized as Straw Hats. Throughout the years, we learned that this hat made of straws may be way more than a simple hat made of straws. After 28 years of publication and almost 1200 chapters, we learned some facts about it. First, it was weared by Roger, that was passed down to Shanks, then was passed down to Luffy, starting his dream of becoming the Pirate King and initiating the whole saga. And one thing that everyone thinks it's true, but actually was never confirmed, is that Joy Boy wore a straw hat. Sure, is something everyone assumes is true, especially after seeing his silhouette, but knowing how Oda likes to be a troll sometimes, I have my doubts. Nevertheless, leaving doubts and uncertainties behind, one thing is certainly true: the Straw Hat is extremely important for the One Piece world. And with such an importance, people throughout the decades have been theorizing on what actually is the Straw Hat. I have seen many theories, one better than the other, and with more and more reviews we get in the manga, more theories emerge and become extravagant. To list some that I saw, the first one, and what most people assume it is true, is the fact that the straw hat we see in the series is in fact Joy Boy's original hat. And that theory got a little more wild with the reveal of Haki knots. I saw many people theorizing that Joy Boy infused part of his Haki in the hat, and sometime in the future we gonna get another scene like happened with MF. Another one that I heard constantly is talking on how the Straw Hat and the One Piece are connected. Maybe the secret to find the One Piece is related to the Straw Hat, maybe the hat is a key, or even hide some truth that someone has yet to discover. But my favorite theory, I unfortunately cannot find the video anymore, but it was a creator theorizing on how the straw hat represents a spaceship. Kinda bonkers, but the theory was great and actually made a lot of sense. However, we are not here today to talk about other theories, because I have my own and it's way more simple than the others. I think the straw hat is nothing. Yeah, nothing. Not in a literal sense, of course, he exists after all and was worn by important people. Even Imu has one frozen in Marejoa. But I always associated the hat with the common people, the everyday man or woman. When I see Luffy or any character with this hat, all I can see is just another person. They being a stretch boy who wishes to become the most free man in the world, or a simple farmer that bought a simple hat from another simple merchant. I always saw the straw hat as just this common thing without meaning or symbolism behind it, and that is its beauty. Let's stop for a second and analyze the One Piece world. You have people born with such greater will that they can literally manifest it, hardening their skin, seeing the future, even being able to force others on their knees with a single stare. Or with the Akuma no Mi, that can grant people almost divine power, way beyond any normal person. And what a great part of this world do with these powers, they use to conquer, kill, enslave, and destroy. People found meaning and even certain symbolism with those powers. Someone like Kaido, with an almost invincible body and powers that could level a country with ease. He believed that strength was the rule of all, and with his unrivaled powers, he made the lives of entire countries a living nightmare. Kaido found his meaning in power. Or the world government and the marine, controlled solely by Imu, who we know very little about, but among 800 years of dominion was the responsible or committed every atrocity known to man, in the goal of creating his perfect world. Imu found his meaning in control. And for last, Blackbeard and the Celestial Dragons. I put those two in the same category because they basically believe in the same thing: destiny and heritage. Blackbeard killed a sworn brother for a fruit that would allow him to fulfill his destiny that we don't know yet, and did everything that he did because he believes that his heritage is the entire world, as well as the Celestial Dragons, believing that they are descendants of the gods that created and ruled the world, and because of that they do whatever they want without any consequences. Blackbeard and the Celestial Dragons found their meaning throughout their blood. In a world full of meaning and symbols, they being good or bad, something so benign and common like a straw hat that can be used by everyone and is so easy to make, to me at least, represents equality and freedom. There is no barrier to make a simple straw hat. Unique or abundant resources are not required, just some straw and some skill. Searching more about straw hats, I discovered that they are basically the most important piece of headwear in human history, present in almost every culture throughout the ages and worn by all classes of people. It wasn't invented in one place and spread. Every culture has their version of a straw hat. It is an invention of humanity and a piece of history that connects the whole world. Beneath the hat, no one is different. And talking about differences, I'm gonna leave you with one last story. December 24, 1914, during World War I, happened one of the most extreme examples of humanity ever. Amidst the infernal trenches of one of the worst conflicts in human history, soldiers from both sides decided that at least for a couple of hours they would just stop fighting, and an unofficial truce started. And for a little moment, men from both sides played games, exchanged gifts, and had a cheerful conversation. Every single time I read or watch One Piece, I remember stories like the one I just told you. Stories about humanity, about empathy, about hardship and triumph, and how things can go as good as someone can dream, but also as bad as our worst nightmares. One Piece is my favorite story ever told because for me it's the most human story ever told. A boy trying to find his freedom, happiness and will to live, fighting the whole world if necessary, together with his family and friends amidst this incredible journey that comes with pain, happiness, loss, gain, fights and celebrations. And above all else, it reminds me that people are more alike than we can ever imagine.